funny. The world is so different in the daylight. But in the dark, your fantasies get so out of hand.
There's a big black bird high up in the pine. She been watching me every night and watching every time. She's seen my creeping, my secret keeping, while you've been sound asleep. And she's the only one that knows what I've been doing, or I'd be 6 feet deep.
Tom Ellis had an affinity for ventriloquist dolls. He loved them. He collected an array of them. Tom never married or had children. In fact, neighbors say they only saw one visitor at his house several years ago. He lived in a modest dwelling on West 3rd Street near Burton Way in Los Angeles. The year, 1972. Tom was a quiet man, rarely seen outside. However, when he was outside, he always had a ventriloquist doll with him, reading the paper, mowing the lawn, or setting out cat food for the local strays who he seemed to take care of. He was an inventor. He used to tell people that when they tried to stop and talk to him, and someday his little inventions, as he called them, would rule the world like gods. People never paid much attention to Tom or his talk of inventions. Tom was growing old, and people just said he was senile. Tom passed away at the age of 87. The neighbors didn't know until someone noticed his back door had been open for several days. In June 1972, a woman appeared in Cedars-Sinai Hospital in nothing but a white, blood-covered gown. There were two things that caused people who saw her to vomit and flee in terror. The first being that she wasn't exactly human. She resembled something close to a mannequin or a doll, but had the dexterity of a normal human being. Her face was as flawless as a mannequin, devoid of eyebrows and smeared in makeup. There was a kitten clamped in her jaws so unnaturally tight that no teeth could be seen. From the moment she stepped through the entrance to when she was taken to the hospital room and cleaned up before being prepped for sedation, she was completely calm, expressionless and motionless. The doctors thought it best to restrain her until the authorities could arrive, and she did not protest. They were unable to get any kind of response from her, and most staff members felt too uncomfortable to look directly at her for more than a few seconds. But the second the staff tried to sedate her, she fought back with extreme force. Two members of the staff had to hold her down as her body rose up on the bed with the same blank expression. She turned her emotionless eyes toward the male doctor and did something unusual. She smiled. As she did, the female doctor screamed and let go out of shock. In the woman's mouth were not human teeth, but long, sharp spikes, too long for her mouth to close fully without causing any damage. The male doctor stared back at her for a moment before asking, "What in the hell are you?" She cracked her neck down to her shoulder to observe him, still smiling. There was a long pause. The security had been alerted and could be heard coming down the hallway. As he heard them approach, she darted forward, sinking her teeth into the front of his throat, ripping out his jugular and letting him fall to the floor, gasping for air as he choked on his own blood. She stood up and leaned over him, her face coming dangerously close to his as life faded from his eyes. She leaned closer and whispered in his ear, "I am God." The doctor's eyes filled with tears as he watched her calmly walk away. The female doctor who survived the incident named her the Expressionless. There was never a sighting of her again. Tom lived only a few blocks from the hospital, and always said his inventions would rule the world like gods.
There were tears in the hours that were darkest, the hour that came just before dawn. But a smile lurks today where a tear used to stray, and the curtain of darkness is drawn.